They say the true measure of a leader is not how far they go, but how many people they take with them. Today, we are joined by a man who looked at the world of competitive sports and saw not just competition, but exclusion. Where many saw limits, he saw possibility. He didn't just recognize the gap, he built a bridge. From the precision of mechanical engineering to the powerful movement of the Special Olympics, he has spent decades proving that excellence is not defined by ability, but by opportunity. He has coached champions, shaped national thinking, and transformed the playing field into a space of dignity, inclusion, and belief. Please join me in welcoming the visionary behind inclusive sports in India, Mr. Victor Vaz. Welcome.
Thank you, Lushan, for having me here at the studios. And I would rather create a lot of awareness about special children and Special Olympics.
What was the turning point for you to move from engineering into inclusive sports?
Well, listen, I was always a sports lover. I was always doing sports in my school days and my engineering days. It was nothing new. But turning into inclusion sports, when you say that inclusion sports came into India in 2010. Yes, beyond that, there was inclusive sports around the globe, but it was introduced in India in 2010. And I came into Special Olympics in 1991 when my first athlete from Goa won a gold medal at the international event in 1991. So that was my starting point. And that I would like to put on records that I thank Mrs. Edna Miranda Souza, who introduced me to Special Olympics, and later on the National Director of Special Olympics India, Mr. Vijay Kant. They are the one who supported me into this movement. And then on, after having this medal coming to Goa, my journey continued and I started serving these children.
And how did your journey with Don Bosco shape your leadership, your values to who you are and what you did?
Yes, see, Don Bosco is an institution which has an holistic movement. Their preventive system of education says reasoning, religion, and loving kindness. So Don Bosco gave me a lot of opportunities to organize sports, to organize events. During those days, my mentors were Father Edward D'Souza, who's in the missionary, Father Joe Braganza, who's here still, and late Father Benedict Furtado. They were always encouraging me in doing activities for Don Bosco. So I had many events organized, basketball, sometimes Federation Cup of Salesian Federation Cup. So these experiences made me what I am today. So it has shown me that if you cannot do this way, you have to do some other method. So it has kept a lot of alternatives for me and it has made me a leader. The education of Don Bosco has made me a leader today. So it is the way it has been.
You've built thousands of systems for athletes. What is one key pillar behind a truly successful program?
It is a year-round training program. We need to train our athletes the year round. It's not only when we have competitions that we train them. Second is athlete advocacy. We need to train them to become leaders. We need to train them to take decisions, So that is what we have to look. Those are the main pillars of making athletes an independent based on their abilities. So this is like one of the most pillars, and training, never stop training the athlete, because some of us say, okay, the event is coming in next year, so we will train just few months before. No, training year round makes an athlete perfect and you get the best performance as per his or her abilities.
Among the different sports that you've introduced, which one had the most resistance and why?
Yeah, see, I have introduced winter sports game. And that was a very challenging, because the winter sports equipments are very expensive. And you don't get them in India. You have to import them. That is one factor. Then the financial aspect. Okay. Then to get athletes to practice that, Not having equipments available in India and make athletes practice is a big challenge that we had. So when I introduced 6 of these winter sports game, it was a big challenge for me. But yes, my management at the Special Olympics Bharat were very supportive, and we managed to get equipments. We managed to, do some jugglery and get things fit as per the requirement and made them practice till the equipment arrived in India. So that was a very challenging job for me.
How do you make people like parents and teachers see ability before disability?
See, as far as parents are concerned, we have to tell them there is an ability in your athlete, in your child. We do not look at the disability. As far as special educators are concerned, they know how to train the children as their ability wise. But parents have to be told that, okay, this is the ability of your child. If a child is brought to play football, and the child may not be able to play football, he may be good in basketball. So we need to convince the parent this is the ability of the child and he or she will be able to do that. So based on that, we convince the parents. We also convince them to make sure that you give an opportunity to the child to participate in events and prove themselves. So that is how we go on with to convince the parents. Basically, it's the parents who have to be convinced, because parents sometimes they use some words saying that my child is mad. So that is not the word to be used as mad. It has to be said that he has an ability with him and he or she has to go as per that ability.
And they need to be counseled for that in the right direction so that they can motivate their child.
That's what we do also, and that's how the parents, once they win medals, then they are convinced, yes, my child can do this, my daughter can do this. So it's difficult at the initial stage.
From your international exposure, what is the one thing that India still needs to improve in its sports ecosystem?
Well, what I see is that the grassroots development has to be there. We have to have more centers, sports-centric centers for our special athletes. We have to have stadiums which are disability friendly. We have to ensure that there is more participation of the girls. Because India, it is like when it comes to girls, people always think about safety, So that has to come in place. Then the overall development of coaches, we need to have more coaches from the schools, because the schools understand the athletes because they are there with them 24 hours. So we need these things to be fallen in place, and then it will be very smooth. And especially, once again, I say the stadiums have to be disabled friendly.
You mentioned about girls. Yes, girls' safety is one big hurdle that needs to be looked at and ensured. But also parents also need to know that girls are capable of big things if they're given the opportunity, because a lot of times we have noticed that girls are held back. They not only for the safety aspect, but also because parents feel like they will not be capable to manage it. Have you noticed that as well?
It's not only a problem in Goa, it's a global Indian problem. It's a problem throughout India, because if you see, there are some states will not send their girl athletes to participate at the India level. They will not send. So we need to convince them, you send it. Happening in Goa also, which I will relate to you the story, what has happened. But yes, there is a very big insecurity. And for us in Goa, no. The parents do send girls, because the statement they make, we know that our girls are more secured with your Special Olympics than otherwise. So that's a big moment for us, It's a big golden medal for us, a gold medal, that parents are convinced that Special Olympics Goa will take care of them.
So you have led delegations around the world. What has that experience taught you personally?
Personally, first thing is that to keep the respect of the country, okay, to be polite, to give respect to others. These are the main factors and you need to have behave properly there, because you are representing a country and you need to be very, very, caution about what you say, how you behave, how you treat your athletes. So those are the important factors that the organizers at the world level watch, because they are athlete centric completely. They don't go to see what the coach has happened, but they see how you treat your athletes. So if you have to keep the name of your country, you need to be very
Very true.
cultured and very attentive to your job.
Very true. And many of your athletes have won medals around the world at various games. Is there any one athlete story that still stays with you that you would like to share with us?
Many, many stories of that sort. But I will give a story from Goa. I had an athlete who went to play badminton. She was, never interactive with anyone. She would be like secluded to herself and sit in one place, do nothing. So when we went for this World Games, she won a gold medal from there. We returned back to Goa. We were in Bombay. From Bombay, we flew back to Goa. A big reception for our Goan athletes who won. It was the Shanghai Games. So finally, a parent comes and asks me, and she happened to be a female athlete, female player. They asked me, "What did you do to my girl?" So I was taken by shock, like, what did I do? Like, you have to always be cautious because it's a female athlete. So I said, "What happened? What did I do?" "Nothing," I said. No, sir is saying, "I didn't say that. I am seeing my athlete coming and shaking hands with us and saying, 'Hello, how are you, Mama and Dada?'" So and she would never do that. She's saying she's become so open, I am surprised at that. I said, yeah, because she has met many people of her kind there. She has been communicate to them. So I told them, I said, no amount of money and medals can change unless you have a personal relationship with, different type of people. That is how it happened. So the other thing that has happened is that one of my athletes was working here, after the World Games. He got a job in one, I don't want to mention to you the name of the company. So he started working there, and he was put in the car washing section. Came the Lushan Games in Goa, and the organizers asked us to give names of the athletes who will take the torch around. Now this athlete of mine was a gold medalist in the 100 meters. So I gave him his name. The moment his photo appeared on the papers that he is taking the torch around, everybody in that car manufacturing unit wanted them in their departments. Some calling them to the accounts department, some calling them to the administration. So you see how it has changed their lives, A small thing, but participation, globally being, recognized, it has changed their lives completely. So this is one or two incidents, but there are many more that I could keep on going and going.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and there was another athlete who was going for my winter games. So the parents were reluctant to send her because she was a female athlete. We had to convince the parents, please, let her go. She went, we won a bronze medal team event. She came back and she got married within a 1 month's time. So our athletes have done very well, and there are a lot of stories like that of success, success stories, you will say that.
And all these success stories, of course, have benefited the athletes, but it's a feather in your cap because you all have done, the groundwork.
For me, for us as Special Olympics Goa, if an athlete is successful, we are happy because that is our mission, to see success of the athletes.
After years of service and recognition, what legacy would you want to leave behind?
Legacy is not about winning medals. Legacy is about the person who comes after you, continues with the movement, whether in the same manner or in a better manner. Okay, so for that we need to have people who are committed to the movement, who care for the movement, and not only committed to the movement. When I say it is who care for the athletes' benefits, who will look into their welfare, who will imagine and have a vision what better can be done to improve their livelihoods. So that is the legacy I speak about.
In initiatives like Unified Football, how does playing together change the mindset of those who do not have disabilities?
See, the mindset of the people is that persons with intellectual disabilities, when I speak about, is they cannot do anything. Either there is a fear in the minds of the people, that they may come and hit them, they may do this or something, some incidences. But when they play with them together, they understand either the athlete are equally better than them, okay, or are playing a football in the sense much better than any other, unexpected. So when they play together, they developed a team respect for the team. They developed, a cohesive sort of playing around with everybody. They develop friendship and understanding. And that when they play together, the whole mindset is changed. That, oh, these are not the athletes the way we or they used to think about. These are athletes who can really perform. They can play together. They can exchange, the viewpoints either by speaking or making signs, whatever. But they are that. So that changes the whole perspective of the person, what they think about special athletes. And it is not about only unified football, it is about basketball. We have all games, team games, we have got unified. And unified games have come now in the 20s, where most of the states are taking as unified. The only challenge we face with unified games is that, like for Goa and say the North and South, North has got exams when the South has got vacations. All right. So if we have a competition when the South has got exams, then you don't have participation because their partners are in unified sports. It's known as athletes and partners. So partners are studying. So we don't find that common gap where we can have an event where partners also can come in and athletes also can come in without interfering in their exams. So, but this is what unified games bring in a lot of understanding among them.
True. In places that are recovering, like Wayanad from landslides and things like that, what role does sports play in rebuilding and healing communities there?
See, sports has always been a weapon that brings together communities. So when you introduce sports in this type of places, the communities come together to play and they understand the difficulties of each other. They give them a relief, that, okay, he or she is facing the same problems. How can we sort out? And when we have this sports training, we also try to understand the difficulties the families face. And if Special Olympics, which is there present in that state, can help them, we reach out to them. It's not. So, and also we make an awareness of Special Olympics program. Okay. So these are a lot of tools that we can use to make a program a success.
As volunteer CEO of Goa, what is your top priority right now?
See, as a CEO of Goa, I have a vision for Goa. And it's not as top priority, it is how much people will come and help the organization. It is finally all has to do is with finances. But my vision for Goa is to have scholarship awards, 100 scholarship awards across Goa for the persons with intellectual disability, 100 distributions of uniform for all the children, whether they are athletes or non-athletes, but for the schools account. Then I want to have 1 or 2 sports for the local Goans only. Every year different sports. And I want to have 1 national sport so that our athletes get exposure every year, 1 national, which is a big budget. So if you keep on gathering finances, then you don't have time to concentrate on the events. So my vision is that I have a fixed deposit of this, and based on that income of interest, we continue with these events.
From your recent international travels and experiences, how are you going to shape training programs that you are going to do now in Goa with those experiences?
See, my experiences at the international level has made my vision more broader. The facilities that they have, as I earlier mentioned to you, how the athletes could be trained, coaches could be trained in competitive fields. So that has given me an exposure, what tools I can use to implement here. Not that I can use everything which is done abroad or at international in India. There are some restrictions. And so we try to modify them and use it, especially now that I'm in Goa, use it for our Goan athletes.
if one child or person, feels limited because of their disability, what would you say to them that could encourage them and, create an opportunity probably? But the world should do differently to accept them.
Well, I will tell the athlete, never doubt your ability. Go ahead with it. And I will tell the world, accept their ability, not their disability, and find more opportunities for them to raise to greater heights.
Thank you so much. You've been such an inspiration and touched on so many areas that throws light and understanding for, differently abled people, and how we need to change our perspectives and our thinking that they also have to have the same opportunities like we do to shine. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor Vaz. It was a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you, Lushan, for having me here. Thank